Yeah, we're live. Yeah, Hal, you're the first in chat. You are officially the first in chat. Nice to see you again, man. I didn't you must have been the first to get a notification. You know, the YouTube's notification system is really, really wonky. I mean, it's like you can be subscribed to somebody and still not get notifications. Everybody complains all the time. You're live, I didn't get a notification. Really kind of frustrating because you put in a lot of work. I don't know what the hell YouTube's. I don't know if it's a part of their algorithm. I don't know what it is. Um, I don't know if you have to hit like, because I know they've changed the alert bell. So I think you actually have to go in again, because they love to work backwards. I've noticed YouTube really loves to like change everything up just for the sake of it without any real reasoning behind it. I don't know. Maybe it's like, I don't know, the director of this department got fired and we hired somebody else, so he wants to make things his own. I don't know what the hell's going on, but they make all these changes that are so counterproductive, but it's what it is. Chat's blowing up today. Very cool to see you guys. I see Natasha, I'm here. Good deal, Natasha, good deal. Soaring, love your analysis. Very cool, very cool. I like to make sure that everybody understands, and I'm wearing Talk Shop Crypto's t-shirt today. And because they came and they got a booth at Chainwise, and I don't even think I charged many people for it. I just kind of left. I didn't even worry about taking their money. But he was really cool. He actually got me Scorn a birthday present, because it was right on my birthday, and because he knows I'm into models, painting models and figurines and stuff, because I'm a nerd. This is my new Instagram. For those of you that are into Instagram, I have nobody now. I mean, I have a few followers, 27 posts, 21 followers, and I'm following 22 people. It's my attempt to try and build this back up. I had like 3,300 or something like that on my last account before these damn impersonators got on here. But this was me yesterday, 294 pounds. I'm down from 300. And actually this morning I was 293. So for those of you that care or are interested, I'm basically I'm having a couple yogurts a day and one big dinner. I'm not eating at night. And the pounds are just kind of falling off. So and then this is the model I tried to show you guys, but this is finally it finished. It's just one of the things I do real late at night. But this is my Void Archon that I painted. I'm actually pretty proud of it. I like the way it turned out. But yeah, that's just kind of one of the things I do. So I'm really into miniatures painting. Like this is one I did for Warhammer. Even though I don't play the game, I just like the model. So I got a whole list together and started painting it. And my Bone Swarm, here's an old fight picture. Oh man, big ogre. Me and my baby girl. Best child on the planet. Not even kidding. Sweetest, nicest together. Oh, there's me delivering a leg kick to a pad. He had to quit. Looked a little angry. A lot of you guys are like, what's your setup look like? That's some of it. That's some of my setup. A bunch of models in the background. So yeah, just a little insight into my everyday. This is a picture of my wife and I. Everybody thought it was photoshopped. They're like, who photoshopped that picture? Like, nobody photoshopped. That's legit my wife and me. My big 7-foot ogre self and her little 5-foot nothing. So anyway, that's my Instagram. You're welcome to follow me if you're into that. Take a look at Ken Bozak's in the house. Dude, you've been crushing it. You're like all over the place, man. I love you to death. Ken Bozak is like the sweetest dude ever, and he's just always high, and he just loves it. And like to watch his videos where he's going off on these crypto scammers at conventions and shit, it's just hilarious because to see Ken Bozak mad about anybody. Oh yeah, that's funny. What's up, Melanie? There's a picture of you in here somewhere. There it is. There's Melanie with my wife and our friends. There's Allie. She's like really big on Instagram. But yeah, Melanie's sporting a black leather jacket. So Melanie with the shout out. And then obviously there's me and my fam. My other two daughters, my stepson, Xander. Dude's lightning. This dude, someday he's gonna replace the Flash in the show The Flash, but it'll be real. Like, it'll just be him. Kid is like wicked fast, man. Like, he's already been breaking records. He's ridiculous. And now he's finally starting to work out. So he's working out with Grandpa, and Grandpa was like a big bodybuilder, and he's like a big judge at a lot of these major shows and stuff. Grandpa knows his stuff, and he's been training Xander, and like it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get real crazy. So anyway, but that's my Instagrams. Bitcoin forming a bit of a doji candle. This is like a I forget the name of this. This is a 4-hour chart, and you know, when you see this kind of thing, typically that means the price is going to continue moving down. Let me see what's happening on an hour. We blew. Yeah, we got a sell signal on a blue, and which is basically red. Price has been moving down, but that really doesn't mean anything right now in the market. I'm going to read you guys something because I got a little bit of insider info that I can't. I'm going to read it, and I will preface it by saying it's not a huge deal, but it definitely tells me a lot of what's going on. You know, have you ever wondered like what kind of data some of these major exchange platforms, and you know, I've commented on it in the past, like what kind of information do these guys have access to? And they have access to everything. Like, they have their finger on the pulse. They know everything that's going on in crypto. And so this is something I'm going to read. I'm going to have to take out a couple of words because it's kind of insider, and he's an employee, and he's somebody that I trust. He's not a BS guy. He's not a scammer. He's not anything. But I'm not going to say any more than that, other than I know the guy, and I know he's not saying anything to like steer me or anyone else in the wrong direction. He actually told me not to share this on my channel, but I think I can, as long as I don't mention who it is or give any clue as to who he represents. But anyway, going to share a little insider information of sorts. As you all know, my day job is with X. We're starting to see bull market patterns emerging from within the communities we're connected to. This plays out in lots of ways for us, but is most visible in key metrics such as support requests across products, especially consumer products like our blank blank. Traffic driving to our websites is also coming from a number of interesting search keywords, including how to buy Bitcoin, Bitcoin debit card, etc. You absolutely cannot quote me or blank on this, but it's time to start talking about the next bull run and getting into some. So I'll leave it there. But it's obvious that there's a lot happening. I mean, there's so much happening with the market right now. Sentiment is certainly changing. And, you know, where do we go from here? I think we're just going up. Now, let's just say hypothetically, we're at 10,003. That's on a 4-hour chart. We're at 10.3 now. And just breaking above that $10,000 mark was pretty significant. And even if we were to come down, even if this were support at this point, we're still above 10,000. So even if we got a bit of a pullback, which could absolutely happen, you know, maybe we got a $200 or $300 pullback, we bounced off of this support here and then continued to move back up. Overall, my sentiment from yesterday is the same. I think we're on our way to 12 grand. And then from there, we're going to probably get a bit more of a pullback. And the one thing that I want people to really understand about the market is the fact that even in a very parabolic run up, the more parabolic that run up, the more likely it is that people that are a part of that are taking profits. Holy cow. Just inhaled something. Wow. And I also readjusted my microphone. It's still pretty far away, but I've been watching some of my videos back, and I'm curious in chat, like if the audio sounds any better. Did I just blast you with coughing, or because my audio seems kind of low still, and I'm not sure exactly why. My audio input capture is pretty good, and it's capturing that mic. So I don't smoke. I dip though. I'm like half hillbilly. I do dip. I'll take a dip out sometimes. And sometimes I'm on camera and I'll see a little piece of dips and stuff in my teeth. And I'm like, oh, wow, people think my teeth are rotting. It's not. So anyway, I do think that we're going to keep going up. But even at a parabolic run up, we're going to see multitudes of, 30, 40% pullbacks during a parabolic run. That's people taking profits. That's bot trades. That's algorithms. That's all kinds of stuff that's just going to happen automatically. Sounds good to me. Don't swallow the crow. Yeah. Use a compressor on it. I think I have a compressor, but I maybe I need to go through, because my audio still does not sound as good as a lot of other people. And I'm like, why? I'm using a very nice Rode mic. I've actually got a hardware mixer, plus settings within the software, so it should be pretty good. Crow, what indicator are you using? This is Market Cipher. I'm using Market Cipher, and the buy and sell signals are Market God. And I'm pretty sure it's Market God. Yeah, Market God version 5.3. I've tried to make many attempts to try and get the guy who created Market God on the channel to discuss the ins and outs, but he just hasn't. I mean, for whatever reason, he just hasn't bothered. But I mean, it's pretty accurate. The only thing about Market God is, let's say you're on a day chart. And if you're on a day chart and because I use Market God as kind of, it's an indicator, but it's not necessarily the end all be all, because what you'll see sometimes is if you're watching the charts, Market God it'll pop up and give you a sell trigger, and then further along in that day, that sell trigger will disappear. And so it's like it'll once the next candle moves over, then that whatever happened within the previous candle, that'll activate, or not activate, but that'll stay. So if a sell pops up and then it goes away because whatever's going on, it'll stay gone, and then maybe you'll get another sell trigger on the next candle, or just different things like that happen. So it's not like you can act on it the second it happens, because sometimes it second guesses itself and it's like, oh, wait a minute, maybe not yet. So, but I do like referencing it. And then this down here is actually a sentiment. Down here, this is a sentiment indicator. So when it's white, sentiment is good. When it's blue, sentiment is bad. And so you'll see that kind of ebb and flow, and you'll see where it's kind of laying out different peaks and things. So just different things that I look at in charting. Look, I'm not a technical analyst. I'm not. So even though I discuss a lot of this stuff, I feel like I know enough about things to get a pretty good understanding as to what's happening in the market. But overall, I'm not a technical analyst. I don't swing trade. I don't day trade. I have, and I had some success with it, but it was also one of those things that I like to sleep. And I'm such a worrywart as it is that I freak out about everything, man. I'm just way too emotional of a guy for it. That's why I love bot trading so much. I just like letting the bot do the work. Speaking of which, Crow Trader is available. Use promo code LOVEYOU until the 14th, and you'll get 40% off. And then this is the beta 15 for Mac and Linux, and then beta 15 version for Windows. You can download the bots right there, and then you'll get a license code. And I asked people in chat, because I wanted to kind of go over, let's see here. I asked everybody, I said, hey guys, I'm going to be going live in a bit and want to discuss Crow Trader. How are you feeling about the bot in its progress? Are you getting gains? Is it easy to use? Has the development progress been to your standards through beta? And nobody's really responded yet. Granted, I just posted it a little bit ago, but maybe people are still at work. I got one guy. The UI is easy to use. Tough part is the endless possibilities of being able to set up a strategy and fine tuning it to just how you want to maximize gains. So I guess that's a good problem to have. Yeah, so I'll wait for more feedback from people, and maybe in the next video or something, I'll be able to go over that. Another thing, I had a guy today, he was like, yo, Crow, he sent me a message, and he was like, hey, I really want to figure out the easiest way to come up. I just want 1 Bitcoin. And he was like, he goes, what kind of miner should I get in order to get 1 Bitcoin? And, you know, I did a bunch of calculations back when the price of Bitcoin was like $8,500. And at the time, I'm like, you know, and it's one of the reasons why I haven't been heavily promoting CrowMiner, because I felt for a while now, it's been more cost effective for people to just buy Bitcoin and hold it. But now that the price of Bitcoin is 10 grand, especially if you bought it low and you've been holding on to it and you're trying to get into mining, you know, I told him, I said, look, if I were just trying to get 1 Bitcoin, I would likely just buy what I could and average in as often as possible until I have 1 Bitcoin. Because to mine 1 Bitcoin, you would need like a large number of miners. And the miners are like 3 grand a pop. Okay. So if, you know, to me, Bitcoin mining is something that you do because you want to establish longer term returns. Okay. In other words, if I spent 3 grand on Bitcoin today and I just held it, I'm going to get a return on that investment. And it's going to be more immediate, but that's all the Bitcoin I'm ever going to have. However, if over the period of, you know, 3 years, which is the typical average lifespan of a miner, you know, then that 3 grand, I might spend it on a miner knowing that, you know, I might not get a full Bitcoin over 3 years. That's what you have to calculate. There are a lot of calculations associated with mining. And I never want to steer anybody wrong intentionally, ever. And that's one of the reasons why when I was crunching a lot of numbers around 8,000, or actually it was like 8,000, it might have been closer to 7. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about crow mining right now. And I talked to Amir and I'm like, I just, until I know that buying miners is going to be more lucrative for the casual investor than just buying and holding Bitcoin, I don't even want to really bring it up. I don't even want to talk about it. He's like, I totally understand. And Amir's been very, 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 very cool. But anyway, I did post, I said, how are everyone's gains lately? This is directly from the Crow Mining Telegram channel. How are everyone's gains lately? Everyone happy? I'm going to be going live today and I want to talk about crow mining, but I want to make sure my miners are happy with the service and the yield. I suspect it's only getting better moving forward. I'm going to spend mine on that anti-gravity craft you were on about last night. I haven't read these yet. I just noticed there are a lot of responses. And this is a developer update. Hello, everyone. Please note that the miner panel was just updated with the latest today's revenue data. All users should see shortly in their profiles a revenue input for the 12th. Cool. That's pretty common and regular. Happy here. Looking forward to the show. That's Mr. Mosty. This makes me very happy, but he's talking about 1099 for him. I'm one happy camper. Miroslav and Amir have been on point with answering any concerns, and daily payout have been consistent. Gotta love it. In all seriousness, not the anti-gravity craft. I think the community is great. Oh, I thought he was about to make another joke. Helpful and supportive. We started through a tough patch, and we know we will have ups and downs. Info in general has been good, and usually queries are answered quickly. So that's basically kind of a generalization of what's going on with the crow mining community. There are 312 people in the community. You know, I think we sold over 600 ASIC miners in a pretty short period of time during the bear market. And now that the market's turning around, a lot of these guys are really starting to like perk up, because we did go through a rough patch because the way mining works is when you're mining, especially if you're mining, so you have your power expenses, right? Your power costs. And like with crow mining, because it's a co-located mining thing, you own your miners, but they're basically managed for you. You can basically call up crow mining, you can email support and be like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, ship my miners back to me, and they will. You own the miner. It's not cloud mining, right? But what happens is you're paying a management fee for all that. You know, because like if a miner goes down, they repair it, like they do everything you wouldn't have to do. I mean, if you bought a miner and like something happened to it, you could be waiting months to send it to China, have them fix it. If they fix it, then ship it back, and you're out of months of profit. So there's just a lot of good behind like the co-located mining type deal. And so, but the thing of it is that when Bitcoin's price is low and you're only mining, let's say you mine whatever. Let's just say you're mining $100 worth of Bitcoin in a day. Okay, which that's not the case, but whatever, just for round numbers. But the power cost to mine that costs $50. Well, if that $100 that was mined that day was 0.01 Bitcoin or whatever it was, and then the mining expenses is coming out of that, well, then your overall mining yield is much lower. But if Bitcoin's worth 10 times more than that, and you're mining the same amount of Bitcoin, then the fiat value coming out of that Bitcoin is significantly less. Well, it's the same fiat, but less Bitcoin, right? And then that's going to pay the mining and the power cost. So the more valuable Bitcoin is while you're mining it, this also depends on hash rates, like difficulty ratios, all that stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. So it fluctuates a lot. But the more valuable it is, and I've always said, over $10,000 Bitcoin, it's pretty worth it. I mean, because the gains are pretty consistent. A lot of the people in the Crow mining community have more than one miner. I mean, there are some people in here with like 60. So, they really went all in and they're happy. I mean, I know one guy in particular that if it wasn't going well, he'd be all over my shit. Because he was at one point in the past, because he just didn't understand how things worked. And then once we all explained it and he got, okay, cool, I get it. And he's been fine. So, it's definitely worthwhile. But, if you're a smaller investor and you just have limited capital, I would suggest just buying Bitcoin and holding it. Again, this isn't financial advice. Do whatever you're going to do. But, one ASIC miner for $3,000 is not going to get you, in my opinion, a significant enough return over 3 years to compared to just being able to buy almost half a Bitcoin. If especially if I've got $3,000 a month that I can put into something. Me personally, I would think, it's still at around this point, you might be better off buying and holding Bitcoin. But if you're looking to accumulate Bitcoin over 3 years, think about it from right now. And that's a whole other calculation. So I could be way off by saying that. I haven't really crunched the numbers recently. But ultimately, if miners typically last 3 years, and we're in a bull market now, the start of a new bull market that's going to last 2 years, how much Bitcoin can you accumulate between now and over the period of 2 years? And if Bitcoin were to peak out at $140,000, which has been my guess now for quite a while, how much will the Bitcoin you've accumulated in that term be worth at the peak of the market compared to the price you paid for the miners to accumulate that sum of Bitcoin? That makes sense. So that's kind of the thought process you need to go into when you're considering getting into mining. So I'll leave that there. CoinBase says Bitcoin will become closer to digital gold in 93 days. And basically what this boils down to is just the stock to flow, the amount of production going into Bitcoin, or, the amount of Bitcoin coming out into the economy, based off of the halving. And again, a lot of people talk, about like May 10th, May 11th as being the halving date. It really could be any time. I mean, it's really a calculated system based off of hash rate, and how many people are mining it. The supply of Bitcoin is limited by design, with new tokens being minted as a reward every time a block of transactions is mined. The initial reward level of 50 Bitcoin per block has already undergone 2 halving events, bringing it down to the current 12.5 Bitcoin per block. After the May 2020 halving, mining rewards for each new block mined approximately every 10 minutes will reduce to 6.25 Bitcoin. This will bring the supply issuance of Bitcoin to a rate of around 1.7% per annum. Stock to flow is a measure of new supply rate over total supply, and post-halving, Bitcoin stock to flow scarcity will be on par with gold. So that's pretty interesting. And think about it. What happens in the next market cycle after this one concludes? Because at that point, then we're not looking for $100,000 anymore. We're looking for $1 million by that point. That's like 6 years from now. If I bought one Bitcoin today for $10,000, held it for 6 years and it was worth $1 million. Absolute insanity, and I believe we're going there. Bitcoin Ben, dude, you don't have to tip me $10. I mean, I appreciate the tips, but somehow I feel guilty. Like, I'm not doing anything rocket scientist. So when people tip me, I feel like, oh, that's like sweet. I want to have you on my show. Can you PM me on Twitter? Thanks, brother. Yeah, of course. I'm more than happy to. But you just have to make sure that you're not driving in a car with your cell phone when we're scheduled. Mr. Bitcoin Ben. But yeah, of course. Hey, Crow, can you do a recap on the video you did where I've seen the future of Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, the recap is that's not going to happen. That's all there is to it. That platform, that's not going to happen. I think it was a bit of a pipe dream, and I don't think anyone on the planet would have the balls to launch that platform, realistically. Because I think anybody that were to be able to launch something like that, I just don't see any government anywhere that would allow that to apply. So this is actually good news to me. I think Trump wants the Secret Service to tackle the Bitcoin problem. Trump has proposed a budget that would see the Secret Service working to stamp out cryptocurrency crime. Trump's $4.8 billion budget for the 2021 fiscal year aims to reallocate the Secret Service to the Treasury Department, in part to help fight cryptocurrency crime. I've been screaming for this forever. Released on Monday, the 2021 budget details plans to bolster the Treasury Department's control over crypto criminality. And here's the thing. The other side to this is now that we have central banks basically getting, development kits, blockchain development kits to potentially launch their own cryptocurrencies, of course the government's going to start wanting to lock down on the crime. I mean, the hacking, the malware, just all of the nasty stuff that's going on, where even me, being such a proponent in this space, I am always so completely paranoid about it's that one thing that you just maybe you weren't expecting, that one thing that it's brand new and you didn't know to think about it or look for it. I mean, you just never know. And it's like, I'm so paranoid. Like, even if I've used a computer to do anything on it for any period of time, I either want to wipe it completely or use a brand new computer anytime I'm doing any kind of crypto transactions. And I'm not kidding. It's one of the reasons I have so many damn computers. I have laptop. I'm like, look, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I can't tell you how. Like, my wife was just down here and we were just talking. And it's like, I am so unbelievably paranoid that while I love the space, I feel like it's just extremely stressful. And it keeps me on edge so much. And that's one of the reasons why, it's like when I have an opportunity to go out and just break free, and it's like I paint these models. I do all this stuff just to try and keep my blood pressure down and everything else. It's like there's just so much that you just don't know, and it's really, really challenging. And I like the idea of having the Secret Service as somebody who is kind of helping to enforce a lot of this stuff, man. I mean, we have to be able to track these hackers down. We have to be able to we have to stop making it so attractive for hackers and a lot of this illicit activity. We just have to stop making it so attractive and so easily gotten away with. And I haven't read this tweet yet. I'm not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and illegal activity. Well, it's already been shown that fiat currency is still number one in that. And realistically, Bitcoin is much. If somebody were to use Bitcoin for true illicit activity, I mean, there's going to be a day when, at least in the current realm, where you're going to have to cash that Bitcoin out in the fiat somehow. Either that, or you're going to have to find a way to launder it or redistribute it or something like that in exchange for something of value. And that's going to get trickier and trickier and trickier moving forward. Well, and hopefully even more trickier. The budget proposes legislation to return the U.S. Secret Service to Treasury to create new efficiencies in the investigation of these crimes and prepare the nation to face the threats of tomorrow. Well, the threats are actually happening right now, folks. This reshuffle marks a return to form for the Secret Service. The agency was first established within the Treasury back in 1865 and tasked with preventing the then widespread counterfeiting of U.S. currency. So yeah, that's that. I welcome that. I'm actually looking forward to this. The more security that we can get in the space. Wow, I haven't touched this in a minute. I was actually looking at Divi before, and it's looking pretty green, looking pretty good. I really like Divi, and those of you guys that know, I have a couple Divi masternodes, and it's just kind of a fun masternode project, and it's like super easy. I am kind of like an ambassador, you know. I don't know what you want to call me, but they gave me enough coins to launch a couple masternodes, and just to like check it out and see if I like it, and because I had talked to them in the past about doing something together, and so I've kept in contact with them. Up 605% this year. So right now it's at 0.01. So it's at 1.6 cents ultimately. Almost 2 cents, and it's going up 5.26% over Bitcoin of late. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Divi does long term here, because they gave me a vested interest in the project. So I think I have two diamond masternodes, and they're basically producing I think roughly like 1,500 Divi a day or something like that. So yeah, very bullish on that. Very promising. Ethereum is up 30% over the last 70 days. That's crazy. Let's look at the top earners. Hedera Hashgraph, wow, up 168% in the last 7 days. Craziness. 92% in 24 hours. I really like Hedera Hashgraph, and what's funny is I wanted to get in. Divi is killing it. The team is amazing. Absolutely, dude. I totally agree. And Nick is a sharp, young, just capable developer. And the other guys on his team are solid as well. Like, I really enjoyed like just kind of hanging out with them one night on Zoom, talking about the project. It was very informal, and it was very like we were talking about ideas for things that we could do. They were willing to help me with some projects if I wanted them to, and I was just like, they were just super cool, man. I really dug them. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, by the way, and crush that like for me. I'm really focused on a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers. That's a milestone that's always been something that I held pretty dear, and I kind of gave up on it during the bear market. And but I really want to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. I think I'm going to do it as long as I keep bringing the pain, which I'm always trying to do. But anyway, I tried to get into Hedera Hashgraph at ICO, and I couldn't do it. It was kind of the way they had it structured. I just couldn't. And then I looked into it later, and I'm like, and then I've got all this other stuff, and I'm more focused on everything that I have invested in. But kudos to them. But there was also another thing. I almost got into them at one point, but I do not remember why I did not. I almost got them off an exchange, and I can't remember why. Got me a Divi node, so easy to use. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's pretty much like click, and you're done. Lisk is up 49%. I don't know what Fabric is. Fab. I don't remember. I feel like I should be familiar for whatever reason, but it's up 120%. Bitcoin Diamond up 52%, sitting at almost $1. Tezos has been crushing it. Decentraland, which I've always been really bullish on. I've always thought it was a really cool project. It's nice to see them growing. Waves is in the grow. Chainlink, which the more I learn about Chainlink, the more I am just crushing my own toe, because the more I learn about Chainlink, the more I'm like, oh man, that's probably going to go. Like, that's probably going to be pretty good. But at the same time, my solace in that is the fact that I have plenty of Cardano. And I expect Cardano to just... I truly expect Cardano to blow through a lot of this stuff once Shelly and Gogan I really do. So that's my, you know, to me, Cardano, and I know I talk about Cardano on every channel, but I can't help myself. You see all these videos of guys that got into Stellar for a penny and Ripple for a penny, and Neo for a penny, and like all this really low price stuff before it just blew up during a bull run. And to me, I really expect Cardano to be that for me and a lot of other people that are following my. I really do think, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, if a lot of the predictions and things that happen with Bitcoin happen, Charles announced a stable coin on ADA. That's really funny because I asked him about this a while ago. And I think I can't remember if I sent him a telegram. I may have posted it on Twitter. I was like, what would everybody think if there was like a Tether like stable coin on ADA? Because I was looking into some stuff and I thought, boy, this would be a really good idea for Cardano. And sure enough, it looks like that's going to happen. I mean, you know, what would the crypto space do without me? No, I'm kidding. I'm really not that special. But I did present that quite a bit ago. So it's good to see that that's happening. All the more reason. Ontology up 25%. That's pretty good. Zilliqa, I don't have any. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into Zilliqa, but that's up to almost 25%. I mean, look, the market's green. I mean, plain and simple. And you know, when I look at the market and I see this activity, Icon down 2.3%. That I find very interesting, but Icon's been pumping for a bit. So Icon's taking a break, and some of the people are taking their profit and their gains and they're putting it into other cryptos. Now, here's the thing. You know, the one thing to look out for is I focus on Bitcoin first, Ethereum second, and then everything else. And what happens is you got people that invest in Bitcoin because that's kind of the grand poobah. And then through that investment, they take their profits, they might put some of that in Ethereum and then some of that into other altcoins. And a lot of that is based off of the calculated gains in each. So if I've got one Bitcoin and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's $10,000 now. How many altcoins do I see going up by multiples of X before Bitcoin goes up to 20,000? And how many, you know, and the same with Ethereum. Ethereum's going to reach a point where it's probably going to grow before a lot of the altcoins do. It'll have its ebbs and flows. But once Ethereum's price point gets to a point where people are like, okay, well, I could either drop $1,000 on Ethereum, or I could get, you know, $1,000 of this other altcoin that's likely going to give me a 3 to 4x gain before Ethereum continues to rise. I mean, it's this constant ebb and flow, and we're going to see a lot more of that in cycles moving forward, especially as bot trading continues to pick up. And I'm going to be showing, like, once I really start kicking off, we're getting really, really close to the final version, the non-beta version of CrowTrader. And once that launches, you're going to be seeing me do probably daily updates on CrowTrader, my profits, my strategies, what I'm doing on the regular, in real time. And I'm going to be showing, you know, I'm going to be making examples of a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. I'm going to be showing how volatility plays a role in all of that. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm really happy about where we're at in the market right now. I think we're going to continue moving up. We could get a little bit of a pullback here, but you know, even that is starting to where we'll see. Take a quick look at chat. We're at 39 minutes. Boy, I couldn't do a short video if I wanted to. You're special. That's funny. End of year Cardano price. Oh man. Check it out on Twitter. Ada just pumped right after it. Did we break 7 cents yet? That's what I want to know. Anything under 7 cents I wouldn't quite consider a pump just yet, but getting close. We're getting close. Up 16.93%. So end of year Cardano price. I really don't want to say yet. I want to really spend some time and make some good solid calculations. And honestly, I want to see post Jelly and Goguen, how the transactional volume starts to go up, because I think that's going to play a pretty big role for me and what my prediction would be for Cardano's price by the end of the year. You know, when Goguen launches, we're going to be able to, I mean, as I understand it, according to Charles, you know, projects on Ethereum are going to be able to just jump right over and land on Cardano's blockchain. And with all of the bells and whistles that Cardano is going to offer over what Ethereum currently has, I want to see how Ethereum affects, or Cardano affects Ethereum's price. And I want to see how Cardano's transactional volume and the like continue to go. And then I'll have a better indication as to what kind of market share we can expect to see Cardano take from Ethereum, and where I could see us landing by the end of this year, let alone 2 years. I mean, the peak, in my opinion, the peak isn't coming for 2 years. You know, if you go back and you look at my, I think it was 9.5, why I see a $9.5 trillion market cap or whatever. You know, I go over a lot of this stuff in terms of the cycles and things like that. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there at 41 minutes. And I will likely be back tomorrow with some more updates on what's going on. And look forward to seeing you. And definitely make sure you check out cryptocrow.io and enroll in some of those free courses. Get your learn on. And I'll see you again real soon. Thanks, guys. I love you. Miss you. Mean it. Crow your coins.